recognize
I
yours,
know.
Stephen's, Brandy's, Ramona,
It's,
Irene,
it's been
all
two or
these
three
great
years.
people, Renee.
It's been 2 or 3 years since we had you out here in the region, which was actually at the Ritz-Carlton that you're going to talk about today. And we were able to get your great wisdom at that time.
That was where we met. And then I actually had the pleasure of going to Tampa to spend time with Stephen and his ladies and gentlemen. And that was a highlight. So I am a raving fan of your region. It's so great to spend time with you. What I will say this morning and for you this afternoon, you're 3 hours ahead of me.
Awesome, awesome. And I think you remember you're from my neck of the woods because I used to live out there in Monterey Country Club. You know that.
I know, I'm right down the street from Monterey. In fact, I drove by there 3 times yesterday as I was showing property.
While I'm waiting for other people to kind of get on here, Lewis and I were out there last year. Oh, I don't remember. Well, last year, it was like a year ago or 8 months ago. We stayed at that new hotel just off the El Paseo back there behind the post office. That
Yes,
is a really cool place. And then you can just go there and walk all the way down El Paseo, which to most of you is the Rodeo Boulevard of Palm Desert. Okay. Yeah,
that's
Palm
right.
Desert area. And it's really a cool place and really nice. We every time we come back, I'm going to stay there now.
Good. We love that. Friends of ours, opened up the restaurant there, and the hotel's doing really well. And people go there because they can stay there and they can walk and spend money and shop and eat and maybe have a few beverages and
Yeah.
crawl themselves back home. So it's good.
I was disappointed to see the old Cedar Creek Inn was disappeared because that used to be my favorite place.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So,
we're opening the economy back up. People are coming back in town.
awesome, awesome. Well, that's great. Well, we're really excited to have you. And of course, I love Brandy. Where's my Brandy? She's going to be facilitating and leading this conversation today. Hey, Brandy Coffey. So Brandy Coffey is going to be leading this conversation, facilitating the conversation with Brady. Brady, again, we're so grateful that you're taking the time to be with us. When we get back to normal times, we're going to invite you back and have you out here in our region because we're going to get our luxury group back together again and do some great in hotel events. As soon as we get out of this, we have to do social distancing because you know what, the luxury people, you might be great social distancers for what we need to do, but we know that you guys like to connect and network. And so we want to be able to hug you and be grateful for all the things that you do for us. So thank you guys for being on the call today. Brady, again, thank you so much. Brandy, you're amazing. And boy, if that's a tongue twister, I got to keep my Brandy and my Brady's up. So thank you guys and appreciate you both. Thank you everybody for being on the call. Brandy, go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So it is my great pleasure to introduce not only a wonderful luxury specialist out of Palm Beach, but also a good friend. I feel like even though we're so far apart across the country, we get to do these wonderful Zoom calls like this. And we'd love to have you here, but this is the next best thing. So just to give you a little background about who Brady is, he is the owner and founder of Brady Sandahl Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Luxury Homes. He is widely recognized as one of the leading forces in the greater Palm Springs, California, Coachella Valley real estate market. And in 2019, they were recognized as being Coachella Valley's highest producing team and the only team who sold over 100 million within that year. Pretty impressive. So without further ado, Brady, would you like to give a little more information about your background and who you are?
Yeah, Brandy, thank you so much. It is a tongue twister. Brady, Brandy, Bridget. I mean, there's a lot of B's in the group, right? So it's all good.
Just call us B&B.
That's right. I think the most important message I want to share with you is I'm really just like you. I wake up every day looking for owners who want to be sellers and people, shoppers that want to be buyers. So I'm in production, right? I mean, my schedule today is I'll do the lead generation, I'll do the lead follow-up, I'll go on the appointments, and I'll negotiate contracts. I might do some staging, I might meet some luxury clientele. So I just wanted you to know that I understand who you are because I'm doing exactly what you're doing. The second thing I want to share is for most of you, I'm in a very similar market. I'm in a resort secondary market where we have, we're 2 hours east of Los Angeles in a valley called Coachella Valley. We have on the summertime, 200,000 people. In the wintertime, we have 900,000 people. So we're definitely tourism based. And everything was going fairly well until March. Fairly well means that our average market time was nearly 100 days. But we really do specialize primarily in the luxury market, although we have a very strong traditional real estate business. Here are some things I want to share with you. Where we met was we were in a Ritz-Carlton event, meaning the Ritz-Carlton leadership came into an event in North Florida, and they basically gave us some data. And this is data that I hope you choose to write down. And they said that, listen, clearly you know, and I believe this is the case, you know how to list a property, you know how to get it on the market, you know how to get it sold. And candidly, you know how to represent a buyer, you know how to find the buyer, find the property, get them under contract and get it sold. And they said that once you get your job done, that 10% of your customers will just not come back to you because they no longer need you. You got the job done. You know, they were in Tampa, they moved to LA, they were in, Clearwater, they moved to Atlanta. They're just not coming back. You can accept that. 10% of the people may not come back because maybe something went wrong with the inspection, something went wrong with the appraisal, maybe something went wrong with you. But the alarming figure was that more than 60% of your customers may not come back because the service was indifferent. Meaning you got the job done, but they were not connected to your brand. They didn't feel a connection to the service. And so therefore they kind of drift away. That happens with sellers, that happens with buyers, and to our leadership on the call, that happens with agents. They just drift. They don't have an emotional connection to the brand. So as you're waking up every day and you're looking to find an owner to be a seller, or you're looking for a buyer to get into property, remember that they have to be connected to your brand. So when we look at companies that really understand brands, what are the companies that come to mind? Well, the Ritz-Carlton, Nordstrom, Neiman's, Saks, maybe Mercedes, BMW, Tesla, maybe your favorite restaurants. What do? They take the fundamental transaction and they wrap an entire experience around it. So what we did is we left that one room realizing that we can take that, what we call that awkward closing gift, where you've spent weeks servicing the customer, you've closed the transaction, maybe they've given you 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 of GCI, and you're trying to find something, maybe at the last minute, that you can give them. Maybe it's a bottle of wine, maybe it's a plant. I know when I bought my house, funny story, closed on the house in February. The next year, I get a knock on the door. Lady standing there, she brings in a lamp to the doorstep, a lamp with a price tag on it. And I said, oh, I'm not interested in a lamp. She's like, oh, no, this lamp is for you. Okay, she's like, I'm the agent that sold you the house. I forgot to give you this lamp. So here she shows up with an unwrapped lamp that was on clearance at Pottery Barn a year after the transaction closed. So it's kind of that awkward moment, like, I really don't need a lamp. I don't need it a year after, and I certainly don't want the clearance tag on it. But candidly, I still have the lamp, right? It's still in the corner of the office. Long story short, we took that closing gift and we thought, what could we do to really engage the customer to make sure that 60% number gets down to zero? So here's what we did. We took what's called the Ritz-Carlton gold standards and we created our own gold standards. Why? Because we wanted to make sure that the experience we gave our customers meaning our ladies and gentlemen that we are working with and the customers in front of the table, were always surprised and delighted. And it's my pleasure to share with you what those defining moments look like. In fact, if you want to write down the name of our concierge and our email address for her, you can email her and she'll share with you the entire playbook of our Defining Moments campaign. So her name is Annie, A-N-N-I-E. And you can reach out to Annie at Annie, A-N-N-I-E, at Brady, B-R-A-D-Y, SANDAH.com. That's Annie, A-N-N-I-E, at BradySandahl.com. And it's in the chat room. Thanks, Brandy. So Annie will share with you all of the steps of this defining moment. But basically, here's what we did. We said, what do luxury customers want, right? They want phenomenal service, right? Luxury is not really a price point anymore. It's an experience. In fact, the millennia suggests that luxury is not defined by price. Price is number 7. It's defined by the quality of the experience. So we wanted to create an experience that was like none other. So we created what are called defining moments, where it's an 8-step process that you can implement, no cost, right? We're not selling it to you, we're giving it to you. It's 8 defining moments that you can use to surprise and delight so that you can beat the odds of that 60% that may drift because they're not connected to your brand. So let's be honest for a minute. When we sell real estate, isn't it accurate to suggest that we do the same thing over and over and over again? Like, it's kind of boring. We're gonna meet the customer, or they're gonna find us. We're going to go on an appointment to either list the home or buyer broker. If we're listing the home, we're going to sign the contract. When we sign the contract, we're going to have to take the photos. When we have the photos, we're going to activate the listing, right? Then we activate the listing, we're going to show it virtually, possibly physically. And then what happens next? Well, they're going to give us an offer. We're going to negotiate it, and we're going to do inspections. Very exciting. Are you with me? This is really exciting. And then we're going to have the contingencies removed, and then we're going to give them a fond farewell. And if we're tired of them, we might just give them a really forceful fond farewell, right? But that's really what we do. And luxury customers really want more than just the transaction, right? They want the experience to be great. So we took those 8 defining moments and we created a game plan where we surprise and delight them along the way. For example, one of the steps is we photograph the property, right? We're photographing the property. Kind of boring. We photographed every property, but when we leave the photo shoot, we leave a candle. And the candle's in a Ritz-Carlton bag with Ritz-Carlton paper and a bow, and it says, we want you to enjoy the fragrance of the candle while we're looking for your buyer. We'll find the buyer before the wick burns out. Now, most people are like, oh, I just saw it. Debbie's eyebrows went up, right? Now she's smiling. You know, Lisa was like, kind of like, well, that's interesting. Well, what we've done is we've said to people, okay, Debbie, I'm so glad you're surprised. I'm so glad you're delighted. Who else do you know who would like to be as surprised and delighted as you are right now? In other words, as we go through the 8 steps and we surprise and delight them, well, we have to look for the cues and the clues to ask for the business. Remember, they're most excited about you at the beginning of the relationship. They're most confident that you can get them what they want at the front end of that relationship. So when you're surprising and delighting them, be sure to ask for additional business. So when we go through these 8 steps, and again, we'll share with you the 8 steps. When we go through these 8 steps, we're asking 8 times, who else do they know who'd like to be surprised and delighted? Now, what does that mean today? It means that we're getting 1 incoming referral a day, and we're sending out nearly 1 referral a day. That means 60 referrals are coming in and out of our little group of 11 every single month. So that's just a great way. So mathematically, for those of you who are very financially focused, here's what we did. We took the $300 closing gift, the closing gift that nobody liked, like that bottle of wine or that lamp or that plant or whatever we found at Home Goods on sale, right? We took that $300 closing gift and we divided it up into the transaction. We're not spending any more money. We're just spending $40 here and $30 here and $30 there and maybe $40 there, right? We're spending the $300 throughout the transaction. Why? Because we know customers need to be surprised and delighted along the way. Any questions so far from the group? Either unmute yourself, put in the chat, raise your hand, shout out, do jumping jacks. Okay.
Jessica Estrada just says, love it. And we did take your idea, and you were kind enough to share defining moments after our Vail Mastermind with a group of luxury and second home specialists. And we just put our own spin on it. So I think it's a great guideline. And then you can go ahead and modify it and personalize it based on your client base and what you feel would be the most suitable gifts along the way and define those moments.
Right. So once you've figured out the surprise and delight and you've customized it, right? Let's talk about what's going on in the luxury space. Let's talk about what is happening. I am extremely confident that you and me, we're in the best position we can be, right? You're servicing not only primary markets, but you're servicing resort secondary markets. So let's look at what's going on in the world today. We are clearly in a health crisis. We are in an economic crisis. We are not in a real estate crisis. So let's look at what's really going on and what the conversation should be with the people that you're helping in luxury. For the last 90 days, everyone has figured out that they can work from home. Everybody has figured out that they can work from home. And the people in the rural, urban, the dense urban markets have figured out they don't have to work in that city. They've also figured out that they don't have to commute to those cities every day. So the quality of life can now be much higher, which means they're going to move to those resort secondary home markets where they can have a good life and work from home. What we've also learned, point number 2, is a takeaway from 9/11, that horrible day on 9/11, where we learned that we wanted to travel, but we wanted to do it more by car than we did by plane. Your customers are going to want to travel, but they're probably not going to want to fly as much as they're going to want to drive, which means they're going to be shopping for vacation properties that they can get to within a drive rather than by plane, excuse me. And the third thing I'd say is the stock market is pretty volatile, right? And so your more conservative investors, as well as your more bullish luxury investors, want to park their money in real estate. They recognize that short-term rentals is a fantastic place to park your money. So here's what I want you to think about. If you are truly lead generating into traditional price points and you're lead generating into luxury, I want you to be thinking about a monopoly board. When you're on the conversation with that customer, think about a monopoly board, because they're not necessarily thinking just about your city, right? They may be thinking about another city, right? So get around the conversation of where are your buyers coming from? And where are your sellers going to? You see, you really have 3 markets you're focusing on in luxury. The market that you specialize in, that's obvious. But when you're specializing in that particular market, recognize that your luxury clientele, they typically have a monopoly board. For example, I own real estate in Washington, Oregon, and throughout California. Not just in Palm Springs. I'm sure your customers are the same. So when you're having a conversation with them, use that monopoly board. Let me know, what else are you going to move on your monopoly board? What are you going to move off your monopoly board? What pieces are you moving around the monopoly board? Because the more mature customer of luxury recognizes the sound of the clock is very different. They're going to want to bring the family together. They're going to want to have everybody in one compound. So what we're noticing is that your very urban customer of luxury is moving to the secondary home market, and your secondary home market may be buying land, a larger compound. So be really clear when you're working with luxury, where are these people coming from and where are they going to? The next thing I want to share with you about luxury is, for those of you who may not be in luxury at the highest level you want, you may have a fear that you don't have the confidence, you didn't come from luxury, you don't play in that field. Remember that luxury clientele is typically more forward thinking. They're more focused on where they're going next than they are living in the past. So therefore, the conversation really isn't about, hey, Amy, what is my property worth? That's not the conversation. The conversation is, let me tell you where buyers are coming from, why they're buying, and what they're buying today. If you can change the conversation away from what has sold to what people are buying, and make the connection that you can be the agent that goes, finds the buyers, and you can be the agent that brings the buyers to their property, either virtually or physically, they're probably going to hire you. For example, I went on the listing presentation, what is today, Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? I don't even know if we're in June or July.
I know.
It's like I've been in this dining room for like 90 days, right?
Same here.
So went on the appointment on Sunday, actually, and had a conversation. This place is phenomenal. I mean, it is in the best location and one of the best clubs with all the jewelry. And they've been interviewing the on-site luxury team. They've been interviewing the resale team, and then they brought me in. We had a conversation, and the conversation was me asking them a series of questions. That was it, right? It was a 15-minute, let me ask you a bunch of questions. I said, may I return to help you understand what buyers are buying and how we could bring one of them to your front door? They looked at each other and said, yeah, why don't you come back tomorrow? Went back the next day at 4 o'clock. And I basically shared with them what buyers were buying. I shared with them where the buyers were coming from. I shared with them why buyers were buying what they were buying. I shared with them how we find buyers and bring them to the desert. I never went into comps, cost per square foot. I never went into that we were the #1 listing team. Never went into any of that. At the end of the presentation, they said, we're going to hire you. May we share with you why? I said, yeah, because you asked us a series of questions and you helped us understand where buyers are coming from. Every other listing agent we interviewed talked about what had sold in the past. We wanted someone to tell us what we were going to do in the future. So I'm not the agent with the highest sales in that club, but I am the agent that got the listing. Why? Because I helped make the connection of how we bring buyers to the property that they want to sell. So again, if you're in luxury and you want that competitive edge, or you're not quite in luxury and you want that competitive edge, have a conversation about what buyer behavior is happening right now. That is the market of the moment. It's not what's selling, it's what buyers are buying. And then as you look at your marketing, as you look at your digital marketing, as you look at your print marketing, as you look at your phone marketing, your prospecting, the message of the moment has to be current, right? It's not about, hey, 95 homes sold in Clearwater last week. It is 95 buyers bought properties in Clearwater last week, right? The owners want to have the visual that they can see a buyer buying real estate, right? So those are two or three things I want to make sure we talk about in terms of how you're doing the conversations in your head. Now, please, when you're going into a conversation on the phone, or you're having a conversation face-to-face, or you're having a conversation virtually, right? The conversation is about you asking a series of questions, right? It's not telling. And I know we know this. So there's a 4-part system we always use. It's called the 4 C's. And Brandy's probably heard this so many times she could just roll her eyes.
You know what? This got me through COVID though. So this is really important. And it helped my team. We started off, with a lot of struggles, and morale was obviously down, I think, everywhere. And without those 4 C's, and I hope you talk about the 3 G's too, because we are still doing that every morning on our team.
Good.
You single-handedly helped our team in our market center. You boost our morale. I mean, you help boost our morale, and we are rocking and rolling. So this, if you do nothing else, take really great notes of this part.
Okay. So let's walk through the perfect day. So I wake up in the morning at 5:30 Pacific time, and I'm doing mental mindset exercise, and I'm role playing with 2 or 3 role play partners every day. And I'm not role playing a particular script of that day. I'm role playing exactly what I'm working on that day, right? It might be a listing presentation, it might be a negotiation, but we have got to become comfortable practicing on our peers, not on the people that pay us. Why is it that we spend so much time rolling the dice, just practicing on the people that want to give us a lot of money? Practice on the people that are the peers that can get us ready for the championship moment with the buyer or seller. So when we go through those role plays, then we start off what we call our 3Gs. And every morning we do a hotel lineup, just like the Ritz-Carlton, where we go into gratitude. Like it was 11:45, 8:45, I went into the 3G call. What are we grateful for of the morning? The second G would be the goals, right? We have very specific goals we have to hit. In fact, we wrote a 90-day plan from May 1st to July 31st and what we wanted to do, what we were disciplined enough to hit. And I'll tell you, we are actually 1.2 million above that trend line.
Wow.
So that goal is what you have to talk about every day, not weekly, not monthly, but every single day. And that third G is the grit. What do we need to do today so that we can have the wins to celebrate tomorrow, right? So the 3Gs. Now, okay, you've gone through the 3Gs and it's like showtime. You're like, oh, who do I call? I've got call anxiety. I don't know how to handle this. These are where the 4Cs show up. And I've been doing these 4Cs for a long time. And part of it, most of it, you already know how to do it, right? So it's just to get you in the rhythm. So the first C is care. Every time you make a call, every time you send out an email, every time you send out a text, every time you see someone, you show up with care. Ask them how they're doing, right? Show them you care. The second C, curiosity. Ask them a couple questions. You know, how has this impacted you? Where are you? Where do you want to go next? What do you want to do differently? What have you learned? How can I help you, right? Once they've played their cards, then that third C is where you get to consult them, right? Now, you're not going to lecture them. We're not doing lectures. We're not going to try to win the conversation. We're going to say things like, Debbie, would it surprise you to know that 95 buyers bought properties in Clearwater in the last couple of days, right? Would it surprise you to know that more buyers are buying now in your neighborhood than they bought before COVID, right? You're giving them a little bit of insight to the data to entice them for the fourth C, which is close. You want to close them on something. You might close them into the database. You might close them into a virtual appointment. You might close them into a listing agreement or buyer broker agreement, but you're going to close them. Here's the challenge. When you're tired or when you're numb or when your head's not in the right place or you're just going through the motions, we forget about closing, right? Most of your revenue is not going to come from lead generation, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to come from lead follow-up and closing. So don't forget about that fourth one, closing. Close that relationship, move them along. And the underlying tone is you're trying to figure out, luxury or not, are they motivated to do anything? You know, people are either motivated to do something or they're motivated to do nothing. Your job is to figure out why. You can't be so great that you convince an unmotivated person to list their home. But if they're motivated, you can anticipate what needs to happen next. You can communicate that to them. You can collaborate with the stakeholders that will get that home on the market, and then you move quickly. Now, for those of you in the room, I know a lot of you, like Linda, it's great to see you. Chuck, it's great to see you. Jessica, I know exactly who you are. So these are people that I know show up every day. But for everybody else in the industry, they're just not engaged. So we have to make sure that we're moving as fast as the customers want to move. In fact, we had someone in your region refer a customer to us. Now that customer had been on the market previously. That relationship did not work. We relisted the home at the same price. We found the buyer in San Diego, brought them to the house, gave them a full price offer. All of that done in 16 days. Wow. Why? Because the seller wanted to move quickly. Again, we didn't discount the price. We went out the door at the same price. Yes, we repositioned the marketing. Yes, we went after Keller Williams agents in San Diego, which I'll talk about next, right? But we moved as fast as the customer wanted to move. So if we're not asking those questions, we may not know the speed that they want to move. All right,
you talk about that a lot. Can I just ask one question? Because I'm sure everyone's really wondering. With this Ritz-Carlton experience that you described, you're always talking about being proactive and one step ahead of the client. What does that look like? And how do you, I mean, other than the defining moments, people I think are saying, well, you know, we just do what we're on, something on our checklist, right? We all have checklists, and this is, you actually have, you empower people on your luxury team to know that they have the right to go out and do something, just like the Ritz-Carlton does with their employees. Can you just touch on that?
Yeah. So how many of you, by show of hands, that have the pleasure of staying at a Ritz-Carlton? Okay, that should be a goal for everyone to go there at least once a year, right? Because when you're around that luxury, the scenography of what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you taste, right, is part of their culture. So we took there are 5 gold standards, by the way, and we took those gold standards to create our gold standards. And what we created what is called Aspire, ASPIRE. And Aspire is an acronym because, you know, I love acronyms, right? The first letter A stands for anticipate, right? If you really want to win a luxury customer, you want to anticipate what that luxury customer needs, and you want to give it to them before they realize they need it. Anticipatory service. So for example, I happened to go from Austin to Atlanta, and I arrived at the Ritz-Carlton Atlanta, and they said, Mr. Sandahl, it's so great to have you at the Ritz-Carlton Atlanta. We have you going to the club lounge for refreshment, and then we'll escort you to the room. Great. I go up to the club lounge, saw Micah. Micah's like, oh, Mr. Sandahl, welcome. You look a little tired today. I said, oh, my eyes are a little irritated from the plane ride. I probably just need to get an antihistamine drop. Well, Mr. Sandahl, why didn't you enjoy this beverage? It was iced tea, unsweetened, by the way, for our Floridian friends. I'm sitting in the club lounge, unsweetened iced tea, and I went to the room probably 20 minutes later. Not only was the luggage there and the suits had been hung, but they had the antihistamine eye drop on the bathroom vanity. What does that mean? It means that a lady or gentleman who works for the Ritz-Carlton is empowered and able to spend up to $2,000 per guest per day to surprise and delight their customer. Now, that little bottle of Visine that might have been $5 at the drugstore or $25 in the gift store, right? Because there's always a markup. But that concierge is able to spend money to surprise and delight me. Now, along the way, he knew that I was traveling with Keller Williams. And so they had in the room a beautiful magazine of Keller Williams Luxury Atlanta, and it says, on behalf of all of the ladies and gentlemen at the Ritz-Carlton, we appreciate you staying with the Ritz-Carlton. It's our pleasure to be in business with you, right? So the brand analogy of anticipation, here's how it translates to your business. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a really boring job. Like, you do the same crap every single day. It's not that exciting. I mean, if someone says, oh, you're just like Bravo HGTV. No, I've done 7 seasons of HG. That thing is so scripted. It was so scripted that I gave the show to Tarek and Christina because I was done with it, right? That's how they got that show, Flip or Flop. I don't want to do that anymore. I can't even read a teleprompter, let alone a script. So when you're looking at the fact that we do the same thing over and over, it's very boring. The challenge is they don't do it every day. They don't know. And so when they come at you with questions, you really think they're coming at you. So here's how the conversation goes. You know, so Stephen, I am so excited to get your home on the market. Allow me to share with you what's going to happen next. Simple as that, right? Stephen has clarity in what's going to happen next, right? We're going to photograph your home Thursday at 10 a.m. Now, Stephen knows that the photos will be at 10 a.m., right? And then once we photograph your home, we'll have the home on the market within 72 hours. Stephen's been given clarity. Photo shoot is Thursday morning at 10. It'll be on the market in 72 hours. That way, Stephen doesn't have to call and say, when are the photos? How long does it take? Will I like them? Now, at the photo shoot, we don't tell Stephen we're leaving a gift, but we will leave the gift, right? To reinforce and train the customer of what's going to happen next. While we're looking for your buyer, i.e., trust us, we're going to find the buyer. You enjoy the fragrance of the candle. And we guarantee we'll find the buyer before the wick burns out. That's getting them trained what's happening next, and don't bother me. Right? Just don't bother me. Just focus on that darn candle, don't bother me, right? Now, same thing at the activation of the listing. We might give them a pen. Why? In anticipation of bringing you an offer, we're giving you a pen now. Yes, we all use DocuSign, I get it, but everybody likes a cross pen. Anticipatory service, we are so confident we're going to find your buyer, we're giving you the pen now, right? Just like at the acceptance of the offer, we're going to give you a champagne bottle now, we're going to open it when the buyer removes contingencies. Why? We're so confident this is your buyer, we're going to get you through escrow. Once they remove contingencies, then you can open the champagne. So we're training the clients anticipatory service, right? Look for the cues and the clues. Now, to Stephen, one of the best leaders in the region, in my opinion, he's probably freaking out like, you're telling the people $2,000 a guest per day. No, that doesn't mean you have to spend $2,000 per guest per day, right? Our ladies and gentlemen, i.e. staff, they are allowed to spend up to $500 in a transaction at any point. Why? Because pain causes pain, right? When there's a problem in the transaction, we have a belief that time will help it. No. Time doesn't help. Time hurts. So service recovery, when there's a problem, we know that if you quickly recover the problem, right? The brand loyalty that they have to you is stronger than if there is no problem at all. So if they're negotiating like, oh, the other day we were negotiating sconces, like it's a $1.5 million house and the seller wanted to take her expensive candles from the sconces, right? I'm pretty sure I saw those candles at Home Goods or Crate and Barrel. I don't think they were heirlooms in the family estate, right? So I said to the concierge, you know, she's like, I went ahead and bought candles. It was $19, right? I don't want an email asking about buying candles for $19. Just go buy the candles, right? You have to empower your people. Here's the thing about the Ritz-Carlton. They're allowed to spend $2,000 a day. The average spend per guest is just over $50. $50, right? So we're not talking a lot of money. We're just talking about empowering of anticipatory service. Let's go back to Aspire. So we've covered anticipatory service. Now we're on S, serve. If you are looking at talent, right? You're looking to bring talent into your team. You're looking to bring customers in. You're looking to bring vendors in. You're looking for affiliates to work with. They have to be able to serve, right? That servant heart has to show up, even when the seas are really rough. Serve. P, perform. Most of us in this room are commission-based sales associates, which means we have to perform, right? Perform every day. We have to perform. And if we're in a salaried bonus, we still have to perform every single day. Even on the days you don't want to, you have to perform. Inspire, I. Wow. COVID, 90 days ago, here's a visual. It's Palm Springs, it's June 16th. We still have in our little airport thousands of rental cars that were abandoned by the people that had to leave town in 24 hours.
Wow.
Like those cars are parked along the runway, right? Our hotels are still closed. Our rentals are just reopening. I'm president of the Chamber of Commerce. 60% of our businesses still closed. Still closed, right? So who needs a little inspiration? I think everybody does, right? So we have to show up every day to inspire. We have to inspire ourselves. We have to inspire the people around us. And by the way, the customers in front of us, you have to inspire. R, respond. Okay, here's the deal. We're in an industry where most people don't want to respond. I don't know why. They have their hand up. They're going to give you $20, $30, $40, $50,000. And for some way, we can't figure out how to respond to that inquiry. Apparently we're that busy mastering repetitious boring of the crap we do every day, right? So be responsive to the people that want to give you money. And then finally, excel. Excel. You actually have to excel every day. You have to outwork your own potential every day. So someone says to me, I'm just not motivated. Well, quite candidly, I'm not really motivated either, but I'm disciplined to get through the day. So if you're having challenges with motivation, right, because you're tired, you've been in your dining room, your living room, your kitchen, you've homeschooled 3 kids, you've missed graduations for your family, or for me, my nieces and nephews, right, I've missed it. Like, I'm not that motivated, but I am highly disciplined to show up every day for those luxury customers and the ladies and gentlemen that support them, to make sure I follow those brand standards of Aspire. Any questions?
So going back, I have one question, if you don't mind, Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing we talk about a lot, resort and second home, being a resort and second home specialist. So for those on this call, if they're unfamiliar on where to find those feeder markets or information on where are the buyers coming from, I'm happy to share some resources that I'm aware of. What can you share with them? How do you so convincingly tell the sellers, this is where I think the buyer's coming from, we're going to bring buyers to you?
Yeah. So it starts with a 1-page CMA, right? It tells them, like, your area, like 7 properties under contract, maybe 4 in pending, and then so many sold. And you would look at that data and say, okay, if I don't know anything about those buyers, I personally call every listing agent that I know on active and pending. Congratulations, Renee, on your great sale on 123 Main Street. I'm so excited for you. May I ask you a question? Sure. What city did your buyer come from? They're going to tell you, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, Jessica, I'm so excited for you that you closed 123 Main Street last week. May I ask you a question? Where did that buyer move from? They'll tell you. And I'm just writing this data down. Then I go to the affiliate and say, tell me from a macro perspective, where the majority of people are coming from per the tax data. Now, we know that 70% of our customers are not in the desert. They're coming from Orange County, 2 hours away, which means that if there were no hotels or rentals, they had to drive in, see the house, and drive home. And by the way, for 4 weeks, there were no public restrooms.
Wow.
No restrooms.
Wow.
So what did we do? We Googled all the open restrooms along the freeway that they could use to make sure that they had somewhere to go potty when they needed to go potty.
Wow.
And then I called the country club that I'm a member of and said, I need to make sure we have a dedicated restroom and a snack station for our ladies and gentlemen who are buying real estate. So what happened is they did the photos, they did the virtual tour, they got in the car, they went through the house, spent 30 minutes, drove home, restroom at the club, drove home, made the offer. What happened? Higher levels of efficiency. Higher levels of efficiency. So look at the title companies, right? They're going to give you the macro, but call the local agents. They're going to give you the micro. And then you can say, wow, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, can I share with you what's so exciting about these 11 properties under contract? Sure. I know where these 11 buyers came from. They came from, New York, right? Can I share with you why they came to Clearwater? Well, they wanted to get out of New York. They wanted to be in a better lifestyle, and they wanted to have more time at the beach. So when you hire me today, I'm going to network with all those great agents in Manhattan. I'm going to geo-fence and geo-target up to Manhattan and make sure that all those people who want to be in Clearwater know about your property. That's going to be unique, and that's going to go a long way with them, because you're doing something different to not just wait for the buyer to show up. You're going to go up to Manhattan. And that story that I went on on Sunday, that I got the listing, here's the thing. They said, no one asked us where we wanted to go next. You're the only person that asked us. And they told me Nashville. I said, great. I've got 3 of the best Keller Williams luxury member agents in Nashville all ready to help you. Here are their profiles. Which one would you like to work with? They said, we're going to call all three. Great. What does that mean? Now we've taken a listing. Now we have a referral. Why? Because we talked about where they're going next. What does their monopoly board look like? If you're fearful of lead generating, I just say this. It's a lot easier to talk about where you're going next. It's a lot easier to say, listen, I can be the agent. I can be the luxury specialist that helps manage your entire monopoly board. You want to do anything in any market, I'm going to be the person that can be your advocate to make sure that what you want is always met by the agents you hire. I'm sensing that if you follow that coaching, you can have an amazing income stream of revenue from referrals in Q3 and Q4 of this year.
I love that you're contacting also on a local level. I mean, I think we all have our relationships and continue to build them within Keller Williams and Keller Williams Luxury. And, you know, you can look at the 2019 migration patterns through the IRS and all these different ways. But like you said, to see what is going on right now, and things change so quickly, especially with COVID, we've seen a lot of patterns change. Not only are you getting that information to be able to consult with the seller, you're opening a wonderful door to build a relationship with another agent in your top 1%, or potentially down the road, profit share, and being able to help them build wealth too.
On March 31st, which was about 2 weeks into COVID, I called every single agent that was a co-op agent we worked with in Q1. And of all those agents, only 2 had received any communication from their own broker or manager, only 2.
And you have a system that you follow every day. You're 5 by 5, right?
5. So I call 5
5
current customers every day, right? 5 past customers every day, 5 people in the sphere every day. And those conversations around the 4 C's, how are you, right? Care, how are you, consult, close. But the other remaining 5 and 5, right? I call 5 local agents in the market. I want them to know I care about them. And candidly, I want them to show my inventory. I also want to find out if they've got inventory that our buyer specialists should know about first, right? And then the final 5 is I call agents upstream, right? Where the buyers are coming from. And I call agents who are downstream, where the customers are going. So in my market, here's how the flow looks. They're going from the coast to our desert, right? And they're leaving our desert for Arizona or Texas. Why? Primarily tax reasons. So I want to get people that are coming in, and I want people know where they're going. So all of a sudden I've got 3 markets that I'm focused on: the market that I'm in, the market where people are coming from, and the market to where they're going to next. All of you are in the expansion business, right? You just may not realize it yet. Hopefully today you realize you're all in 3 markets. You're all in 3 markets.
I'm putting a lot of these notes just for everyone in the chat box, and I'm sure we'll have questions. We have about 1 minute till 12:50, so we'll open up for questions the last 10 minutes, if that's okay.
Yes.
I love that, and I'll try to type all these up and send everything to everyone in one little Word document so you have them for reference. Just real quick, just to kind of end on that, you obviously have been studying the Ritz-Carlton experience and service. You've gone through the Ritz-Carlton leadership. What other resources? I posted on there, the gold standards on their website. This is a great book that I think, well, you can't see it with my background, Excellent Wins. This is written by the founder of Ritz-Carlton. Are there any other kind of resources that you want to share that people can go and kind of do their homework later to understand what you study and what you're learning and sharing with your team?
Yeah, I'm a big believer that everybody in this Zoom room knows what luxury feels like. Okay. It's a feeling, right? It's not necessarily a look, it's a feeling. And so I would encourage you to make sure you've got a very clear 90-day plan, your GPS, your 135, on what goal you have that you want to set. And then for us, the 3 stools of that goal would be listings taken, listings sold, and buyer controlled sales. And then under each stool, you want to figure out the activities you're going to do every single day. Now, if you're not sure what those strategies should look like, Think about the brands that do luxury at a high level. What is the commonality? They make the customer feel great. That's the commonality, right? It doesn't matter if it's retail, restaurant, hotels, travel, consumer goods, but they make the customer feel great. How? They focus on the experience that the customer goes through. So think about, if your customer goes through the experience, what does that look like? They're going to meet you, you're going to meet them. You're going to check each other out, talk about your standards and expectations, and then you're off to the races. Think about what the ideal customer experience looks like. Inspiration, Ritz-Carlton Gold Standard. Anything about Nordstrom, anything about Starbucks, anything about a brand that you admire is a good resource. But here's the thing. Don't go out reading a lot of books. Read when you have a problem to solve. Get a couple gold nuggets and then go from there.
Great. Okay, so we're going to open it up to questions. We have about 9 minutes left. So if you'd like to unmute and ask Brady any questions, now is the time.
Hi, Miss Zwick. Good to see you.
Hi. You can post in the chat box too.
So by show of hands, how many of you are actually networking upstream?
We are, for sure.
Yeah, you're crushing it. You're doing a great job.
We're even going outside of, Keller Williams, just looking to build profit share in other areas, especially with Compass, and a lot of companies we know are changing right now. They're getting rid of their client concierge services and things like that. So we contacted our top 5 feeder markets, and we've advertised them on Facebook. We've called the top agents in that area, regardless of their firm, and have started building relationships with them, sent them relocation packages on our area, just because we know they're leaving your area to come to my area anyway. We might as well help you build some income and help your clients get into the right hands, and we'll do the same. And so we've even gone outside of KW to hopefully bring some more talent over.
Yeah, if you're someone that's really not, how many of you have fears around lead generation? Or do all of you just love lead generation? Yeah, Rachel, thank you for being honest. Amy, thank you for being honest. Okay, so the rest of you are going to teach a lead generation course today at 1 o'clock. I'd be happy to. Okay, so I mean, this is like the culture of honesty, right? So I'm just going to suggest that all of you hate lead generation or like to avoid it, and you'll do anything to get out of it, right? Okay, now we're being honest. Here's the thing. If you're really trying to develop your comfort level in lead generation, lean into Keller Williams agents who are not in your market. Like, just honestly learn to fall in love with lead generation into referral agents, right? So I would say that most of the west coast of Florida is going to come from the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest. Those people are so nice. Just get comfortable calling them and say, hey, how are things in Chicago? How are things in Minneapolis? I'm down here in Tampa. What can I do to help you? Who do you know that may be moving? They're not going to reject you, not in our culture. So once you become comfortable with that mindset and you're comfortable with your skill set and your strength and your activities, then you can work on your past clients, then you can work on your sphere, and maybe some point you'll call an expired listing, right? I understand that you'll want to verbal vomit. I understand it. I mean, I'm the guy that had phone anxiety. Unless I have a headset, I am not capable of having a conversation. It's like Tim Heil from Keller Williams. Tim Heil did most of his conversations, prospecting, in the broom closet of the market center because he didn't want anybody to hear what he was sounding like. We all have fears and phobias. So if you're looking for a safe zone, just start calling agents out of market who maybe have clients that are going to move into your market. Learn that discipline, get that confidence going, get that rhythm going, and then you've trained yourself that you can do the same thing in the local market.
Another great idea is to run some Facebook ads, either through command or directly on Facebook if you want to go real advanced. And you can certainly have those leads feed into command so that you have a great way to nurture them with smart plans. But we did our 5 top feeder markets, and a lot of them come from Chicago, so Midwest, and then also Michigan, and then the Northeast. We're getting more and more. And that gives a way to where they will contact you. It goes right into your CRM, And then you can do that follow-up, like you said, and it's easier when they contact you for information, especially with, we just did a free relocation package that we offered them.
Right.
And we've had 102 leads as of this morning in 16 days.
Yeah.
So,
And so when you're doing those Facebook posts, remember, it's not as much exciting about how many homes have sold and market data. It's to catch them, to get them from stop the scrolling, right? Whether you're on Instagram or Tinder or whatever website you're on. I mean, you want to just you want to stop the scrolling, keep it in the moment.
yes.
So to Audra's point, she asked about how do we recruit Ritz-Carlton talent. Actually, we just selected someone who was leading valet services at the Ritz-Carlton, who's going to join our team July 1st.
Wow.
And I've known that gentleman for years. And Mark was in charge of all valet services at the Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage, which is at the top of the mountain and just up from our office. And I said to Mark, I love what you do and how you do it. Is there a way that I can fit into your world? And he says to me, he's like, well, Mr. Sandahl, you know, I have a real estate license. I was like, what?
Excuse me?
Yeah, you have one. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah. So Mark has not even joined the team yet. Mark has given us 7 referrals in 4 days.
Wow.
That are more referrals than our own agents have given us, okay?
Where is that again, Brady?
The Ritz-Carlton Rancho Mirage.
Oh, yeah.
And here's Mark. Mark's like something, it's like, oh, you know, I don't, money is not important to me. I'm like, well, it's important to me. So keep those referrals coming. All right, we have a question from, I think it's from, oh yeah, Ms. Zwick, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm not a Keller Williams agent. I'm a guest.
Oh, I love that.
Welcome.
I'm absolutely very grateful for this hour. But my question to you, Brady, is I heard you say at the beginning that you do lead generation, you go on appointments, you negotiate, and how do you, I know you have a team, but how do you mentally do this every day?
Oh, it's so funny. I've known you for what, 16 years through the Mike Ferry system, right?
Yeah.
16 years, yeah. So she knows.
It has. It's been a long, long time since I saw you, but
yeah, it's good to see you.
it's good to see you.
So here's the thing, like yesterday's schedule, I mean, this was the funny thing. I get up Monday morning, I do my mental exercise and mindset, and then I go into a coaching call with Mike Ferry at 7 a.m. And then I have 2 role play partners at 7:30, 7:45. And then by 8 o'clock, I'm just looking at emails. 8:45, I'm doing the Zoom call, right? Or, sorry, the 3G call. And then at 9:30, I'm leading an event for Arkansas, a Zoom call. And then I get a text from Keller Williams, like, we need you in Connect Live or Command Live or what, I don't know where I was, Brandy. I was in something and they're like, we need you on screen at 9:45. So I'm like, okay, I got to get through. And then I'm going live for all of Keller Williams at 10 o'clock. That ends at 11. I quickly go right into lead generation, right? So now I'm like thinking, oh gosh, I'm 2 hours behind, actually 90 minutes behind in lead gen. Now I'm doing the lead gen. I've got to make 25 calls a day. So from 11 to 12:30, I'm doing 25 calls. Didn't get through the 25 calls, went on 2 appointments to list property, and I had 3 offers to negotiate, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm a little bit off course, but so then I'll just move things around. So then we decide to have a couple closings while my closing coordinator has hip surgery. I'm like, I don't even know how to find keys. Okay, we got that covered, right? Get the properties closed, buyers take possession, concierge is on it, and now it's like 6:30. Now I'm back in the market center dealing with some things. I still have to get to 25 contacts. Call some more people, get to 25 contacts, get done. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I have to go hang window treatments at a new listing. I'm like, I don't really like to hang window treatments. So there I am. I'm up on a ladder hanging window treatments. First of all, these window treatments are horrid. They're brown and no one should allow that to happen. Bottom line is I'm home at like 8:45. That was a pretty normal Monday. The message I want to give you is I had looked at my GPS, and I'm happy to share it with the group. I looked at my GPS several times throughout the day. I know exactly where we are every single moment of the day. Like I know that we're 1.2 million above the halfway point, and yesterday was the halfway point. So I'm just really clear. If I'm going really, if like Gary Keller emails me, it's like, I need you in a room in 15 minutes. Okay, we're not going to talk about listing 123 Main Street. We're going to talk to Keller Williams Worldwide. And then I've got to quickly go back into 123 Main Street, right? We have to counterbalance, pivot all the time. Someone shadowed me the other week and they're like, oh my God, I would never. Like there was a day where it was like a Florida call, Atlanta call, Midwest call with Gary, and then it was a Hawaii call. So I had 3 hours behind in Hawaii, 3 hours ahead, plus trying to list properties in Palm Springs. The message is we have to be that calming voice, right? And yes, you're counterbalancing and pivoting, but never forget the goals you're wanting to hit. Because if you don't have the goals in front of you, you don't have anything to work towards. Now, remember this. The GPS, the goal you set is not to get you across the finish line, it's to get you out of the gate. And if you're not out of the gate, you probably don't have clarity on your goals.
Brady, will you share what a GPS is with some of the visitors, just in case we have some non-Keller Williams agents?
So GPS is a navigation, and a G stands for goal, P stands for priorities, and S stands for systems, right? GPS. Now, ultimately, you're going to have one goal. And then you're going to have 3 priorities. And then you're going to have 15 strategies, right? So one goal, and then you have 3 Ps. Each P has 5 strategies. 5 times 3 is 15. It's on a 1-page sheet. I don't mind sending it out to you, Brandy, if you want to share it with people.
Sure.
But it just really helps people understand.
Brady, send that to Ashley.
Okay. Yep.
And we'll get it out. And then Joni, if you wanted to, who invited you to the call, if you wanted to visit with that leader, they'd be happy to share that with you and kind of go through that and help you as well.
And I have all the emails in the chat box so that I can share any notes and some of the acronyms that Brady was using earlier on the call.
Yeah. So that's just a great vehicle to stay focused.
Hey, Brady, you may be already doing this, but within a 2-hour radius, you might want to talk to the Ritz-Carlton out there in Dana Point, that Laguna area and stuff, and get those San Diego, find somebody in those Ritz-Carltons, or get your guy at that Ritz-Carlton to connect you to get some referrals, because I'm sure a lot of people want to buy second homes from those areas,
I am so pleased to say that I go to those Ritz-Carltons at least once a month. I was just in Dana Point 2 weeks ago.
Isn't that a beautiful one? I love that.
Yeah. I love Marina Del Rey, Laguna Niguel, downtown LA. I know all those ladies and gentlemen. And what's interesting is the LA Ritz-Carlton will send the celebrity clients and the athletes because they stay in downtown LA. Laguna Niguel will send a little bit different clientele. But I always make a point to get to know the ladies and gentlemen at the Ritz-Carlton at all the properties in our feeder markets.
Yeah, because that's a great luxury connection. That's where I used to live too, Laguna Niguel. And then I moved to Palm Desert. So
you're living the dream. I love it.
My life where I grew up has been like, only in resort areas. I'm in Florida. So how about that?
I love living in resort markets. In fact, I know the Ritz-Carlton so well. They were asked like, when are you going to come work for the Ritz-Carlton? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, Brady, you did an amazing job today. Thank you so much. Brandy, thank you so much for leading and facilitating this call. Did you all get a lot out of it?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it amazing? Now, I also wanted to share with you that we are having Tony Giordano on July 21st. And Brady, you're always welcome to chime in with Brandy and listen in if we can be of any assistance to you as well. Jeanette Spinelli is going to be on August 18th. So those are our next 2 calls. And for all of our guests, Joni, we'd love to have you again. I'm not sure who our other guests are, but any guests, we'd love to invite you again to these calls. We welcome you. And then just something else I want to share with everybody. We're actually working with Unique Homes in getting some photography. So for each one of your market centers, we're making it an initiative to be able to really continue to promote our luxury opportunities, because we know as a company that we really sell a lot of high price point luxury homes. And so we want to continue to get that message out there to support you. And we're also working on some other areas where we feel that you're going to get the value of being part of our luxury with Keller Williams, and particularly in the North Florida region. So a lot of great things are coming your way, and we're excited to be able to share those with you. And please don't forget the networking opportunity you have through the luxury division. You know, that's where 180,000 associates, and through that we have agents that specialize in luxury. So make sure that you're taking advantage of your networking opportunities through our luxury division. So Brandy, anything else you want to say?
Just one more thing I'll share is just one thing that Ritz-Carlton does really well is they survey their customers and their clients. So if you're looking for a great way to improve the experience with your clients, getting that honest and candid feedback from them is really valuable. Brady might even have one to share, but we have some resources for that if you're looking to really dive deep on how to improve with your client experience.
Yeah,
There's two things I want to say if I can. One is encourage yourself to ask for business throughout the transaction, not wait till the end.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, encourage yourself to ask for the testimonial throughout the transaction, not just at the end, right? Remember, if you're having a great restaurant experience, you're going to give a survey on that restaurant at the highest point at the meal, not 3 days after the meal ended. You're like, did I have pasta or did I have salmon? I don't know, right? So when they're in the moment, get them to comment. That's when they're most excited about you, and that's when you want to get them on paper.
And Brady, I was kind of on and off the call because I had a couple other things I needed to attend to. However, the Ritz-Carlton provides, you showed their credo and the ladies and gentlemen and the lineup and all those things. Yep, we got those credos. And so one of the things that's another benefit of the Ritz-Carlton is you can go onto their website and you can sign up for any of their training. It's not about Ritz-Carlton, but it's about the Ritz-Carlton experience. And that provides a lot of of great luxury education. Wouldn't you agree, Brady?
Yeah, in fact, I'm working with them right now and doing something for Keller Williams. So that's definitely in motion.
Yeah.
But you can Google the Ritz-Carlton Leadership Center, and their job is to help organizations like yours, ours, take the gold standards and put them into your own culture. And there's just some great material there. But remember, the biggest reason to do what we're talking about is you show up every day working really, really hard. We're going against that 60% that may not return because the service was indifferent. We know you're better than that, right? We know you're great at what you do. So these moments, Annie at BradySandahl.com, just reach out, ask for them. It'll be her pleasure to share them with you. Even if you just did one of the 8, you're going to see an immediate growth in your business.
And I also shared your website just now in the chat box, in the areas you cover, the Palm Springs and Coachella. I think I said Palm Beach earlier. I apologize.
That's okay.
We were on a call talking about Palm Beach, Florida before we got on. We were talking about some of their nice advertising they were doing.
I have a funny story. I was in Miami, and I had just landed nonstop, right, from LAX. And I said, I'm from Palm Springs. And I said, yeah, it was like 5.5 hours. She's like, oh, did you really? She was thinking Palm Springs, Florida. And I was like,
yeah.
No, I didn't know there was a Palm Springs, Florida. So I have to be really clear. I'm in Palm Springs, California.
California.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brady. And thank you, Georgia and Ashley, for helping us put this together, and for everyone joining the call. I'll send all these notes to Ashley with the acronyms so it can get circulated out. That
sounds great. Brandy, Georgia, Ashley, Jessica, Linda, Irene, everyone. Remember this, and it came straight from Mike Ferry, that the first thought in your head may not be a great one. So make sure the second one is great and it happens quickly, because you deserve to be as great as you are. So thank you for the time today. If there's anything you need, you can always email me at Brady, B-R-A-D-Y, at BradySandahl.com. The website's in there. You can Facebook, Instagram. It's always Brady Sandahl. And until we meet again, be well, be strong, and be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brady. Have a great day.
Thank you, Brady.
Georgia, I'm just going to copy a lot of the chat box just to make sure we got everyone's email.
Well, Ashley, we get it saved anyway.
Oh, okay, cool. Great.
Ashley will take care of that. Thank you.
Perfect. Bye.